Hello again. We're back. I'm Steve with Conceptia, and we also have.
Spencer, time-paced automation, aka Rage Quit on Discord.
And how'd you come up with the name Rage Quit? What does that mean, by the way? I'm curious about
Oh, it's just a leftover name from gaming.
that. Gotcha.
I
Okay,
really should change it to be my business name or something that makes sense in this context, but I haven't done that yet.
I like Rage Quit. It's cool, but it just seems so counter to your personality, you know.
it was meant to be somewhat ironic. Yes.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, mission accomplished.
Good.
So yeah, so we're back with the CRM learning application. And what we're going to talk about tonight is creating and deleting. We've talked about updating. We've done that already. And now working backwards, we're going to do create and delete. So just to show you, we don't have the create function created just yet. And Spencer is going to go through that in a minute. But just to show you what you'll see in terms of delete, you'll click the user you want to delete, click the delete button, delete user button, and then away they go. All right, and so Spencer will show how that functionality works as well. All right, I'm going to stop sharing, and over to you, Spence.
All right. Thank you, Steve. And please let me know if the screen resolution and everything is okay.
Sure. Yeah, it looks fine.
Okay. So here we are in the CRM dashboard application where we left off. And we're going to start with creating. So we need to add a button for create. Just hide this for now. I keep doing that. So let's add a button. Add a icon button, I guess, and we'll put it up top here. So we don't want the width to be 100%. That looks weird. Let's make it 60 and hit reset to apply to all of the different formats, meaning mobile and tablet, etc. And let's change the icon to something related to creating. Icon color, icon size. Where is the actual icon? Here we go. Create. This will work. Change the code to create user so that makes sense for what the action will do. And I want to increase this icon size to maybe not that big, 32 would be fine. All right, let's add an action associated with the click for this icon button. Go to edit, and let's rename this. This will be user. This icon is just for the developer, but I do like to change this sometimes too. All right, so for the create user action, we need to add a new data record.
Sorry to interrupt you. Can you zoom in again, please?
Yes.
Okay, great.
So let's do a create data. I think this will work. Let's read this description again. Create a data record and store it in your built-in NoCode-X database for a certain data format. That sounds like what we need. The name, specify the name of the data record you want to create. Okay, this is actually, leave it blank. I'm not sure if we can actually leave it blank.
Let me just give a quick overview to make sure I'm understanding and following, but and also for the anyone watching, with the update, what we're doing is we're updating an existing user, right? So we're updating the fields for the existing user. Here, what we're doing is we're basically inserting a blank record, and then we're going to update that blank record. Is that correct?
That's the idea. That's the goal.
Yep. All right.
With this name, I'm not sure if it's going to allow us to leave it blank. We'll see what happens here. But yes, if we can leave it blank, and it will just create an basically empty template data item that's based on the user data format, then we can go through the updates. So,
sorry, what is that name field for? What is that naming? Name of what?
This is the name of the data record that we want to create. So if we look at the data,
arbitrary name, right?
It probably is.
Yeah.
And at this point, we don't know what it's going to be. So, like with the user that you deleted, if we add her back in, what was her name? Alice Johnson. Yeah, we have to type in this name. We choose the data format, and then we fill in those properties. Like this. We don't need these. So it would look like this. We're defining this name when we create the data. In this case, I think we just have to make it something generic or random.
It's called new user. Let's see what happens. New underscore user.
The problem is then all of our created users are going to be with that name. I'm thinking maybe something like a random, I don't know, a random number, I guess, would work, or
timestamp would
yeah, a timestamp would work.
Actually, wait, unique. I mean, that's the way to go, right? Unique identifier.
That sounds good.
Yeah. So
let's call it UUID and drop that in between here. I like that a little bit better.
It feels better.
Okay, so now we're giving it a name that should be unique, at least unique within the scope. All right, we'll see what this does. Body is going to be blank for now. Again, we're just creating a template blank data record. We also need to update the data table. So let's use the execute action to do just like what we did with the save changes button. We want to update that data table so that the user that we're creating can be selected. In this case, I guess it would be nice if that blank record was automatically selected. Let's see what this looks like though so far. We have a create button. We click it and nothing happens. Let's check our logs.
Do you need to show the detail form?
The detail form is not in play yet.
Okay.
This, though, tells me that we can't do exactly what I thought. Just a blank object because we have required properties in our data format. Potentially do that, yes. Yeah, see, these are required.
Yeah, let's make our lives easier.
Okay.
Doesn't
let's also do nullable. So the default way that if you manually create these, the default is like this, where it's usually nullable, it's true, and required is false. But if you create these through the AI or through this like from JSON or from text from CSV, these AI options, it'll create them in the opposite way, where the nullable field is false and required is true. I don't know why there's that discrepancy. It's a little weird.
It's enough to drive us nuts.
Okay, I think those were the three that it was complaining about. So the data format is updated. Let's try it again. See what happens now. Okay, it did create the blank row. Obviously, without selecting it, though, it's a little bit unintuitive at the moment. So you have to click on that and then go to edit item and then fill out all of these.
So did it just add the row to the bottom of the data table? Is that what happened?
Yes, added a blank row here.
You can't control where it puts it. Like you say, insert at the beginning or anything like that. With row one.
Not in the way that we are currently doing it. I guess we could apply a sort to the data table. There's enable sort here. And I think if we go to the onload, just sort here as well. Maybe it's in one of these. Sort by. Sort the list of data retrieved. Don't have options in the scope. We would have to do it this way. Attribute. We choose, I don't know, last name, I guess. And how is blank last name ordered? Is that a ascending or descending? I don't know.
Ascending.
Is it ascending? Okay.
Ascending. A. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we can see if that works. Yeah, blank row is at the top now.
So then
click on this. Okay. Yeah, it adds the new one on top.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a little bit better.
Yeah, did the blue bar automatically appear?
No, that's only when I highlight or hover over the row. So it's still a little bit unintuitive in that sense. Would be better if we can automatically select the row, I guess.
Leave that for a future enhancement. How's that? Let's be good developers and focus on the requirement first.
Okay. Okay.
The lesson I've been having to teach myself this week several times.
All right. So if we're leaving or skipping that part, the next part would be, let's see, let's just test this out. Smith again. Oh, we've got two Smiths. Okay. Yeah, I really need a random name generator now built into this. that's the next video, right?
Another use for AI.
Yeah. Lead source site again and save. So that correctly updated the row and saved it. Yeah, so that's basically it. We've allowed the end user to create an item and they can click on the row and modify it.
Okay.
That's creation. Let's add the delete.
Let's do it. So walk us through the high level plan or design for deleting.
Deleting needs to be done with a button that is in the detail section because we're only going to delete a user that's selected. Once the end user clicks on the delete button, the action will fire off to delete the data record and update the data table. That's all there is to it. Let's add a button. Hopefully this is a horizontal list, and it is. Delete user button. Click icon. Change the formatting a little bit. Primary to error, and change the size and position. Height. What do we have on save changes here? Width is fit content and height is 40 pixels. Let's use the same. And again, reset the other screen sizes. Shrink to 0. Okay, that looks fine. Let's add the action. Rename the action. And here we need to first get the ID that is passed through from the row that is currently selected. So that is, let me see here, which function? Get value from object. Yes, that is the one that allows us to choose the key, which is ID. This is just a metadata property of all data items. To show you, it is this.
Okay. Yep.
This is a metadata property. It's not visible within the scope. That's why we're using this function to get it manually with the key. If I go to scope, it's not going to show.
You type ID just to make sure.
And actually, I think before we even do that, we need to add the selected row object as our parameter. So now we're pulling that in, this function. Now we should see our selected row. We see first name, last name. These are, again, these are the columns that load in the data table, but we don't get the, we don't see metadata.
Try,
actually,
if you wouldn't mind, try typing ID real quick. I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
This is where, okay, just make sure. Where I couldn't see something and I typed it and then it would show up.
Sure. So the ID is passed through. If we were to write that out to the log, like if we did that in the on-click action, we would see ID written out to the log.
Can you see if there's a get data? Just scoring. Yeah, can you search your action or functions? Let's see, get data format. I don't think it, wait. Yeah, can you look at that one? Let's see what that function looks like, the options for that function. Get data format attribute.
Get the type of the data formats attribute.
Yeah, I just want to see what options there are.
Selected data format and the attribute to fetch the type of.
There's an ID
This might
there. Um,
This
but
is
I don't know.
getting the type though. So this
Okay, not the
would
actual.
presumably return string for ID.
Yeah. Okay, I see now. Okay, cool. All right.
Might be useful somewhere else though.
Yeah, I could have sworn that there was because I remember Tristan explained that there is the object and then the data format, the data rather, object versus
Yeah.
data. And so I was
It,
wondering
it
if get data from these records from these values. But that's fine. Let's keep going the way you're going.
yeah, usually in the scope, it defines this with what's actually the content of the data as the payload. And then the other metadata is sometimes available, but not always.
Okay.
Okay, so we're getting the value from the object. We need to delete a data record and look that up. The data ID is what we just pulled in here. So that's going to be the selected user ID. And then we want to, again, refresh the data table to reflect the changes so we can use our onload. And default and false, that should all work. Okay. Refresh our demo page. And let's choose one of the, no, let's choose this one since it doesn't have a lead source. Delete. Doesn't look like it worked properly. Application logs show the value argument was null.
I don't think you connected the get value from object or specified the data settings there. Yeah.
The object is selected row. Okay. That makes a difference. Mm-hmm. User, that's fine. This is fine. Okay. Let's try again. Refresh. Select Ingrid. And actually, before I click on it, I just want to bring up the data and see what that looks like. So here's our two created items.
Okay.
It's created by deleted user. That's, I guess, the system.
Yeah, I've seen that a few times. Yeah, the plugin also does that.
So it did create it with a unique identifier and country last name. This is one of them, and this is the other. So this one should be deleted after we click on this button. Let's see if it works. Looks like it updated the data table properly. And this ID, I'm going to copy this ID and then go back to data. And we do not see that ID anymore.
Yep.
It is truly deleted. So that finishes out creation, reading, updating, deleting. The fully functional app.
That's where we pitch now to investors. Are we ready? Yeah. On our way to the corn status. All right. Very cool. Yeah, I think that's everything. So for anyone watching, again, please, if there's any additional functionality or techniques, maybe you don't know the functionality, but there's a thing you want to learn or try, drop us a line in the community. And as I've always said, we're here to learn together. And so yeah, let us know what you'd like to see next. All right. Any final thoughts from you, Spencer?
Thanks all for the feedback. Appreciate it.
Cool. Thanks very much. All right.